Привет, Lavdian! Welcome to my wonderful kitchen and my channel. Today I want to show you how to make fish cutlets. And this is quite a traditional Latvian recipe that's been passed on to me by my grandmother, Omite, and she used to make them often, even though when I was little I didn't really like them so much because, you know, kids hate fish. I was no exception. But as I grew older, my palate developed and I absolutely love these fish cutlets. There's a little twist, we fry them with a bit of sesame seeds around, and that gives it extra flavor, crispiness, and just that, oh, so yummy. And I've added a few extra bits, changed the recipe towards my liking, of course, and I really can't wait for you to try it as well with your family and maybe kids if they like fish. But there's obviously a lot of meat cutlets out there, so these are fish ones, and in Russian they're called rybные котлеты. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get started. In your food processor, add onions together with fish. So I'm using pollock fish together with cod. You can use any fish that you like. It's completely up to you. Make sure it's defrosted. And then we're gonna blitz everything together with onion. So I'm using a food processor. You might need to just do it in stages and kind of mix it up and then do it a few times just to make sure it blitzes well. My food processor is not super strong, but it's good enough. So just keep mixing it together. You do want your onion to be mixed with your fish as much as possible. And now that the mixture is done, I'm going to transfer it and then kind of repeat the process with the rest of the fish. You cannot do it with all the fish straight away as it's just too much there. And my food processor can only do, I think, 1 or 2 liters. So keep going until you finish all your fish. Now we're going to add 2 eggs and paprika. And it's a lot of paprika, a bit of garlic seasoning, and some salt and pepper. You can use any spices that you like, it's completely up to you. And I'm only going to do this with this part of the fish. Don't worry, we're going to mix everything together with the rest of the fish, but we do need to mix it in a blender, which makes it just easier to combine everything together. So now I'm adding the rest of my fish in here, and I'm adding a bit more spices. I've added some spicy chili, but it's completely optional. Over here I've got some white bread and I'm adding a little bit of milk to soften it. So we want to reach this kind of consistency, and then we're going to add this back into our food processor to blitz everything together. Now it's quite full, but don't worry. We're going to mix everything together, and you're going to just kind of do this in stages. You can do half mixture at a time and then mix and do another half, or you can mix everything by your hand as well. It's completely fine, whatever works for you. So once everything is mixed in, you will see that it becomes kind of nice and even, quite consistent in the color and also in the texture. So I've made them a little bit spicy, but not too much. Once everything is done, transfer it into your bowl, and you can see how smooth the mixture is now. Now I'm adding some breadcrumbs, and I'm going to mix everything together one more time. This will just ensure that it soaks up any extra moisture that we might have, and then the mixture is done. Okay, so now what I like to do is add some flour. This is all-purpose plain flour together with breadcrumbs, and I want to mix this through. And I'm using this kind of brownie tray actually, just so it's easy to keep all the flour and dry ingredients in there for mixing. And then I'm also adding some sesame seeds onto a plate because we're gonna kind of dip it into both. Add a bit of oil into your pan. Make sure it's nice and hot. Here I've got some water for my hands, so they're nice and wet. It will be much easier to form a cutlet. So take a big sort of handful of your fish mixture, shape it into your hand, dip it into your flour mixture, then shape it again, and then dip it into your sesame seeds. Okay, you only want to lightly sort of mix it once or twice. You don't want to press too much because they don't stick so well, but they will stick, you know, they're not going to be covered in it completely. If you did want to cover it completely in just seeds, you would just skip the flour mixture. But I think this way it's much better because you kind of get a nice coating and it's very crispy as well. Once you've done all your cutlets, you place them onto a hot pan, make sure it's nice and hot, and then you're going to reduce the heat and cook them for about 10 to 15 minutes on each side. Maybe shorter, it depends on your pan, it depends on the size of the cutlets that you're making, but you do want to make sure they're cooked through and they're nice and golden. Just look at that. And I really love the sesame seeds. It adds so much flavor to the fish cutlets, and if you're a fan as well, you'll absolutely love these. So I do turn them around a couple of times just to make sure they don't burn. And once they're ready, you can serve it for lunch, breakfast. It can be a starter with a bit of salad. Over here I've got my spinach. I'm adding a bit of my creamy sauce and it's ready to go. Let's cut inside. They're super soft, super juicy, very crispy outside, and just have so much flavor, guys. I know you're gonna love these, so enjoy.